All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Buckeye High School Football Coaches Show with Coach Aaron York. We'd like to thank our sponsors, our headline sponsor, BK Distributors. BK Distributors has been our headline sponsor all year, Josh. Scott's great. He does all kinds of stuff for us. I mean, anything with a logo, he's got a trio of businesses there. They got BK Apparel, BK Promotions, and BK Distributors. So he is our headline sponsor. We'd like to thank him for sponsoring all the football season. So we're gonna send out some sponsorships pretty soon.
Yeah. So the sponsorships are coming up here. We're going to try to do at least 5 or 6 basketball games, boys and girls. It'll be a coaches show, 5 weeks on both of those, I believe, somewhere in there. And we got baseball and softball also coming up.
That's right.
And we're going to start sending out those sponsorships to where we can upgrade some of this equipment and actually move everything over to a computer and a camera.
That is exactly right. So get ready for some sponsorships for Full Force 6 Sports here at Buckeye High School and all the sports. We'd love to thank Rio Rojo letting us have this coaches show here every Thursday night during football season. They've been great for us. Best Mexican food around. Rio Rojo's been really good to us. It's a good atmosphere in here. We get Coach York in here, just get to talk about the game a little bit with the Panther fans.
Yeah, look, it's always a good thing. Like you said, what they try to do is they try to build that camaraderie in the team. What better way to do it than have a meal on Thursday night before the game on Fridays? Talk about what happened the week before. Talk about what's coming up for the week ahead. I think he's building a good program. I think that everybody's going to start getting into it with all the sports. We start doing this. I think you see some things turn around for Buckeye Panthers.
Well, we're really excited about all the athletics at Buckeye High School. Listen, tonight's the playoff edition of the Coaches Show. You don't get these every year. This is the playoff edition. The Buckeye Panthers are in the playoffs in Division II Select, ranked number 15. We're going to recap a little bit of the Gina game. We went over to Gina. Gina's got a great ball club. They're number 7 in the state. They have a really, really, really good atmosphere, and we had a blast. I mean, it was a lopsided victory for Gina, but listen, the atmosphere was second to none.
Yeah, we played. We played in 5 homecomings this year.
Right.
It was Gina's homecoming. It was a late homecoming. We got the story on that, but it was late. But through our 5 road games, that is probably the best atmosphere I've seen as far as high school football around the central Louisiana. The Gina Giants you could tell that their community's pouring into it.
Right.
They had new hedges planted. They played a certain song on the fourth quarter that they make a tradition there now. We were talking earlier, they used to do the drone shows on Thursday nights. The Gina really has it going on, and it was a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to tip our hats to Gina. They were, very good host. They accommodated us with everything we needed.
And everything there was immaculate.
Yeah, it was really nice. There was a lot of fan participation, which that's what we want to sort of get to. We got the new era, Coach York era, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, we're going to have to. We're looking for those upgrades around here with our Panther club and this and that, but we're going to get there. Like I said, you have goals that you set as football teams, being an elite champion inside or making deep runs in the playoffs like Gina's been doing the last few years, Bunky's been doing. Those are things that the Buckeye Panthers are working to get to because, like I said, I still believe before the next 5 or 6 years, you're going to have to beat a team like Gina and Bunky every year in the playoffs if you want to make a run down to the quarters or the semifinals.
And that's a fact. Both teams are really good. They're 5-7 going into the playoffs. So I mean, they got really good ball games coming up. Both of them got a bye in the first round. But we're really excited about this team. First year, in Coach Aaron York's era, we're in the playoffs. We went down to Gina. Listen, Gina put up some points. They were really, really good. They had a good night. But our kids never stopped. We did get the ball in the end zone there towards the end. And you'd like to see that because you bring that momentum into this game.
Yeah, look, once you get on that football field and you realize, look, if a team is better than you, they're supposed to beat you, right? If a team is more, the Gina Giants was ready for anything that we threw at them, and they were a very good football team, and they showed it why they're an elite caliber and why they go deep into the playoffs and why they have been for the last 3 years. I mean, it's a very good football team, but keep in mind, the Panthers is doing it with several underclassmen.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We're working to get there. Gina had several seniors on the field. So that's one of those things that the coaches try to tell you. You have to work to get there.
That's right. And listen, and they're making the right steps. Like we say, year one, we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, year one, no one gave us a chance to win 3 ball games. Here you are sitting 6-4 with a chance to beat a good Booker T. Washington team that I think you can beat. And if everything works out the way you do it, if you do beat that team, you may be going to the quarterfinals.
Right.
Know? And have to play another good team in somewhere around Leesville is what I look to predict, something like that. But no one gave the Panthers any of that this year. If you win 3 ball games this year with a new coach, you're doing good. Hey, you're 6-4, looking at a chance to get a first round victory, first time in history to get a victory in the playoffs.
And that's huge for the whole program. That gets your kids involved. That gets a bunch of kids that wasn't playing football back in football when you have a winning program. And that's what we want to see, as far as, in the playoffs. Listen, we play a team that's ranked lower than us. Now, they are coming from down south, and they're going to be a good ball club. But the Panthers have a very good chance of going in Panther Stadium where they haven't lost this year.
Yeah, keep in mind the Panthers are 5-0 at home.
That's right. So they go into Panther Stadium, and they got a chance to make history.
Yeah, that's right. Look, you and those are some of those things where those football games come and go, Darren. It's going to end for the seniors. It's over with once you graduate, whether you play college, whether you do this, where you go.
It's not the same.
All that's coming to an end.
That's right.
This is one of those games where if you do win that, it's kind of like our 99 when we played there. We got that first district championship in school history of 36 years. People still talk about that football team. This is one of those football teams where if you go out there and you win that first playoff game, that's one of those that is always going to be compared to down the road.
That's right. You make your mark with a victory.
Yeah, you make your mark. What better way to make your mark than people talk about it after you're gone?
That's exactly right. So, we're going to close the chapter on the Gina game. We're proud of our guys for going down there. They competed hard. Gina just, they got a very good football team. But listen, we're going to move into the player of the week this week. And listen, it's more of a player of the week, but it's
a player of the year.
It's a player of the year for the
player of the year through at least 10 games that we've had.
That's right.
I mean, I call him the captain, one of the captains on offense. I mean, I think he does a fantastic job. I think he's probably stepped into a role to where he really had to get there, and he does a good job with it.
He does, and you can tell that he's a leader out there. He calls all the offensive line calls. You can tell he's a leader as far as getting the huddle, and we're super proud of him. He stepped up this year, and
and he's one of those guys that we were talking about last week because we gave it to Preston last week. Preston's one of those guys that on Saturdays he's out there trying to kick those field goals, do this to get better at doing that. This guy here, he grades himself the hardest out of anybody as far as if he made this block, if he didn't make this block, if he did this, did he do this right? He's one of those technical guys too. So that's what you look for, especially as big as he is. That's the way you get to that next step if he wants to pursue that.
That's right. And listen, offensive linemen don't get a lot of credit.
They get zero credit.
They don't get a lot of credit, and they have to stay in the trenches.
Yeah, in the 90s, they were called the Forgotten Five, if you remember.
That's right. They stay in the trenches. They do all the dirty work, and they don't get a lot of recognition for it. But tonight we're going to honor an offensive lineman. It's been an outstanding offensive lineman all year long. He's the player of the week this week. Everybody put your hands together for Ryan DeSale.
We're going to put you in the hot seat, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Let you talk, see how your talking is. But all right. Hey, look, man, fantastic job this year. We can see you up in the booth. You make a lot of calls. You make sure everybody's lined up right. Let's just go through it, and some of the things that we have to ask you is, how big was the challenge this year of having a completely new offensive line?
You're good.
To me, it was more of learning, because last year I was mainly defense. So we were all still learning technique, but what really, it was mainly just making sure everybody got on their assignment, did their job, and just
just making sure. And what a lot of people do is because if you are a captain on the offense or you're a captain on the line to where people have to be lined up in a certain area, people have to do the things right for you to make the play work. You have to kind of be stern about it sometimes, and it helps that your teammates realize that you're doing it just so that's your leader mentality, and that's why people call on you to do those things, is because they realize hey, Ryan understands this, and this is what we need to do to get better. So it really kudos to your offense to giving you that that role, because you can tell in the booth everybody stands up and looks at you.
Right.
They look up to you. So very good job on that.
And Ryan, you seem to be a leader. We talked about it before you came up. You seem to be a leader in the huddle. You make all the blocking assignment calls. Is this something the coaches expected from you, or you stepped up and said, "I got this, coach"?
It was kind of both.
Okay.
So they expected me to make everybody do their job, make sure they know their job, but also to help get everybody in the right spot at the right time.
Right.
And what it turned into is that I would make calls and they echo it, or depending on how the defense lined up,
right,
they'd make calls, we'd adjust to it as well, and then we'd work on it.
Yeah, and look, that also keeps you there. You have a job that you have to do as far as a lineman yourself. You have to keep everything up to what you know how to do. You got to make sure you're in the right spot, but then again, you also got to make sure everybody else is in the right spot. So that's one of those things that you have to build on. You worry about everybody else, but you can't forget about yourself either, because it's easy for you to worry about everybody else and then forget the small things on your end. And that's one of the things that you haven't done all year. You've always, you may have been offsides one time all year, or a false start maybe once or twice. With doing that and making those calls, man, that's impressive.
It really is. That is. And listen, back in the day,
back in the gap,
offensive linemen didn't make that many calls. But now you're like the quarterback up there as far as offensive linemen go. You have to watch just as much film to see all their sets. You have to watch all that so you can recognize it to make the right call. Because if you make the wrong call, it'll be bad. That's right. Tell us a little bit how you go through your preparation. Game time. Yeah, game preparation.
The G version, Ryan.
always start with a nap.
Gotta
get a good nap.
Get a good nap in. Rested. You got to have your body rested. Yeah.
But I know it just...
You listen to a little music, get yourself psyched up for the game, or relax? How do you?
I watch my earbuds, so I can't do it.
Oh man!
That normally is what I do, but now it's just mainly. I wouldn't say meditate really, but I kind of just focus and calm my nerves.
Right.
And then focus on what I'm doing, go through plays in my head, make sure I know what to do, what other people are doing, and then by game time I'm ready.
You're ready to go, huh?
It's just a second nature now.
If you can play fast like that.
Yeah, you can play fast like that. Once you get into that zone and you realize, hey, at the end of the day, it is just a game, but you want to make it a game of perfection, or as close to perfection as you can get. And we've watched you do that week in and week out as far as making an assignment here. Even like you said, even like a game when we were at Gina this week, you were still working on the best version of yourself out there on the field, because I seen 2 or 3 pancake blocks and this and that. We were talking about that, on our way up to going to the bus and this and that. So people see those things, and that's why they ask you to, to step up into that leadership role. So we wanted to just congratulate you, man. We think you did a fantastic job. Look, for sure you got one more to get those calls right. And look, man, I'm telling you, this is what everybody don't understand. If you can be a part of that team that makes a part of that history and puts that imprint or that fingerprint on history, it's one of those things that you're going to be able to go back and you're going to be able to talk about when your kids grow up to be like that. You can say, hey, well, this is the way we did it here. So what I encourage you is don't lose focus, and know that you got at least one more that you got to get it finished.
That's right. And listen, in order for us to come out with a victory tomorrow night, your unit is going to have to play its
the
best
Buckeye
game.
Panthers are going to have to play almost perfection football.
It always starts up front.
That's right. That's right. If your unit fails, the offense fails. So we know that, and y'all have been doing great all year. And listen, you had to come because it was a new offensive line. You had to. Everybody was new, and we think all of y'all have done a great job, and you have been a great leader for that unit. So we appreciate you. Listen, hang it up in your room wherever you want to, but we appreciate you, man. Thank you. Congratulations. Everybody give a big round of applause for Ryan DeSale. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the man of the hour. I want to hear loud Buckeye cheers for your head football coach, Coach Aaron York.
Coach York,
Good evening.
you got a little limp going on?
Old age.
Old age, yeah, the weather's killing me too, I'm not going to lie.
It's like that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's playoff week, buddy.
It's playoff.
I know
week.
you're
Let's go.
excited.
I am excited.
I am too. You don't get these every year, so we're excited. Before we get into all the fun football stuff, let's get to know your coach a little bit more.
Come on, man.
Hey, we're going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving, Coach. What kind of Thanksgiving traditions are in the York family?
One, if we're playing football, you play football on Thanksgiving week.
That's right.
That's always your goal as a football coach.
That's right.
But if for some reason we're not playing football, we just like to go hunting, get the dogs out. That's normally our first week that we start running bird dogs and bird hunting. And if you want to talk about food, I'm not a very big turkey ham guy, more of steaks and.
Yeah.
Wow.
We started doing that on Christmas. We started cooking steaks on Christmas instead of Thanksgiving. I just got to get the trimmings of Thanksgiving every year, man.
I'm not a big Thanksgiving traditional.
You're not a Thanksgiving eater? Like
Not really.
the dressing and all that?
No, I'd rather
Just a good cut steak?
Let's go get a steak, get a bag of oysters.
Hey,
and sit
I'm
down.
with you. I'm with you. I'm all about that. Well, look, I know from my side here now because we actually have a Christmas tree up in my house right now.
We do
Which is
too.
a little early
I
for
don't
me.
know.
I
It's gotta be
don't.
against the law.
I don't understand.
It
I
should
even
be.
said, Amber, I don't know why you're putting up the Christmas tree yet, but the kids wanted to put the trees up. You know how it goes. Are you a Christmas tree guy before Thanksgiving or after?
Let me just say this. If it was up to my wife, we would have had it up.
In March, yeah.
Okay, but there's a big but. If it was up to me,
It would never go up.
we put it up on the 24th, but then take it down on the 26th.
That's right.
I'd give her a day, but really, I'd rather wait until the last minute. for Christmas.
That's right. Yeah, you're like me. You got young kids too.
Oh,
They
yeah.
enjoy the tree.
Being honest.
Yeah, and if she wants a tree up, tree goes up.
Yeah, the question should have read, is your wife before?
I'll go ahead and say this. She has already made the to-do list of getting out all the Christmas decorations.
Oh, that's the
Just
fun.
hasn't got done
I'm
yet.
telling you now, I was shocked because our tree's never been up before Thanksgiving. It's usually the day after Thanksgiving we all put the tree up. This 2 weeks before
Yeah,
Thanksgiving here.
it's crazy.
Christmas trees or Christmas music.
Yeah, Darren's the same way. His is
Oh,
up.
yeah,
I witnessed that too. So I'm with you. I'm with you.
You got to do what you got to do. But you got a good reason. As long as you keep winning football
Keep
games,
playing football.
Hey,
You
it's
ain't gotta worry about the
harder-
to-do
it's hard-
list.
Hey, look,
I'm gonna be honest. I was
Coach,
trying to-
if you make it all the way to the dome, that's like December 15th or whatever it is. So that's not a lot of time to put lights
not.
up.
You might as well
It's not a lot of
leave it
time to
down.
put. Yeah, you might as well leave it down. So that's one of them things you got to look at. I agree.
I mean, we're not saying anything, Coach, but
we're
your
not
to-do
putting you
list
on
could
the
be
spot,
pushed
yeah.
back.
Pressure's on now.
That's right. That's right. So, last question: you and your family going to Florida for Thanksgiving break? Y'all going fishing? I know you're going hunting,
Well, the plan is hopefully we're playing football then.
right?
But if we're not, we will probably make a trip over.
Okay.
But the goal is to be playing football during that week.
That's right.
So hopefully not.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm with you. I mean, I'm all about it.
But
It gets tougher down the road.
It does get
You know,
tougher.
it gets
as we
tough.
move on, but the goal is always, we don't make plans during that week because it is.
The goal.
Right.
It is.
Could
Look,
be
everybody's got to have a goal. That's the goal. Hey, if you don't make it, that's why you.
That's right.
It's, you know, in the coaching world, you've had a great year if you're playing on Thanksgiving week.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, as you get your schedule in high school, you want to circle that week. And so we leave it open. You did talk about fishing. They did open up red snapper season for a month and a half. So it is over in November. So if we are, for some reason, knocked out, I will be probably making a snapper trip.
That's right.
So
So you load your dog up here and go to hunt over there?
the dog will come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes with me.
Yeah. You're going to show Daddy up on that?
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, good deal. Well, listen, let's talk about a little football. Let's talk about the playoffs.
Okay.
You know, in the playoffs, first season here at Buckeye, beyond, did you see this coming?
You know,
I mean, always.
It's always your goal to get to the playoffs and make a run at it. You know, going in, you know, your expectations are that you just want to get better than you were the day before. And if you look at this team and look at what we've done, I really feel 100%. We look at ourselves where we are a better football team now than we were 3 or 4 months ago. And
For
that's
sure.
positive. So we moved in the right direction. As far as, you know, did I see us making a run or in the playoffs at the 15 seed? Maybe not.
Right.
And if we're completely honest, I think that, you know, there is a good possibility of us being 7-3, 8-2 going in.
Right.
If we played better football at the beginning of the year. So we could be sitting even higher. And that goes to, you know, just the buy-in and the belief of the kids of a new system. So, you know, overall, it's exciting that we're in the playoffs. Now the goal is to, you know, do something that we haven't done in school history and win one. So
That's it.
we put ourselves in this position. It's, once again, exciting first year. The kids are setting the standards and things that we've got to uphold year in and year out. And so here we go.
And like you say, it's, you know, it wasn't maybe the expectation, but this was the goal. And we got there in the playoffs the first year. But like you said, we could very possibly be 7-3.
Oh, we could very possibly be 7-3 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you go back and change some of the things on the Vols game, that game's a lot closer than what people give it to. There's no doubt that I think you should have beaten South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very good. You know, but if you play that game at week 8 or week 9, you beat that team.
That's right.
That's just one of those things. That's just one of those things on the schedule that were, you know, you just fight.
Right.
But I think you've progressively gotten better. And another thing I'll say is you had a team that was already playing pretty unified late into the year, and then Caden gets hurt, and you had some guys really step up and really start getting that unity that you really wanted from the first of the year. You've seen that step up even more, I think.
Right. No, I agree, and we got more kids going both ways now, and that has to do with, you know, some kids didn't make it the entire year, injuries, et cetera, whatever it is. You know, being a new coach in a district with a new schedule.
A very tough district.
Tough district, new schedule. You know, as a coach, when I looked on there were a couple teams on our schedule that I've got to coach against over the last 7 years. But the rest of the schedule, you know, it was new to me. So you talk about, you know, what you expect. Those things, you didn't have a whole lot of expectation because you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know going into it. So,
Well, you got to be excited, though.
I'm very excited and very pleased, and knowing that I told our seniors this today after practice when they walked off the field, that they've laid the groundwork for this. This senior
That's exactly
class,
right.
That, you know, people are going to look back, hey, you know what, y'all started that run of every year in and year out, you're in the playoffs, or, you know, you're in the quarterfinals, and that's your goal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 100%. Just like I said, not meaning to go back week by week, but nobody gave us a chance in the world to win the Marksville game, buddy.
No.
And we went down there without our starting quarterback. You put together with your team, with your team, and your team bought into it, and they controlled that whole football game. Nobody gave you a chance to win that game.
I mean, if you want to be completely honest, and these are things that, you know, that we talk as a team, not a whole lot of people gave us a whole lot of chance of being 6-4.
No, not even close, I don't
and
think.
So, I mean, looking at that, the outside world, we know as a football staff, as players, as a program, what we're putting into it is what you get out of anything in life, whether it's football, sports, marriage, your job, whatever you put into it, you're going to get out.
That's right.
And we know what we put into it. We know the work that we're demanding of the kids.
Well, yeah, I think the core group that you have now, these kids that stayed with you through the 10 weeks, now going on 11 weeks, that really bought in. I think it's, like I said this in week 6, I think the best of Panther football is ahead of us.
Oh, for sure.
Because you have a very talented group of freshmen, sophomores, and you have some really good juniors that are playing in those key players now. So your sophomores, they get a year older because you have a good sophomore class, but you also have a pretty good freshman class coming up as far as just athletic wise. Now you're going to have to teach them the game of football because several of them hasn't played football, but they're very good athletes, I think, and that goes from your freshman and your sophomore group. So I think it's a lot to build on.
For sure.
I think the exciting thing is, especially at a place that we're at here at Buckeye, that you got your middle school on campus, and this is one thing that I enjoy from a coach. Now starting, I'm here on campus. I'm going to get to spend an off season with these kids
For the first time.
Right. 4 or 5 months ago, I was struggling to learn their names.
Right.
And now I've gotten to know their names, gotten to see what they can and can't do. Now we get to get these kids and start really implementing the system
Right.
over the off season. And as they progress, it's going to be, you look at how many seniors we have right now. We don't have very many seniors, so everybody's coming back. And to get these kids bigger, faster, and stronger, we get to develop our own players here.
That's right.
And it's just not in high school. Now I'm going to get to go down and work with our 8th graders, our 7th graders.
You can go all the way back to kindergarten if you want to.
And develop those guys too.
Yeah, and you have a pretty good Red River League coming up with a lot of people that has started from the time they were little, that's starting to get in a little bit of that same mentality of, hey, if we want to get better when we're in high school, we're going to have to start now. And you have a pretty good following of the young kids in football right now.
And we get to develop those as a coaching staff, develop our kids, and it's not just in football, but basketball, baseball, tennis, whatever you play. We get to develop those kids, and that's the fun part of seeing it. That, where did they start, whether it was in 9th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, to where did they end? And, as their senior year. But get to develop those kids, keep them in your program, get them for those 4, 5, 6 years, however long you get them.
Right.
That's the fun part of it, and that's when you start to see, not just having one good year to win, 2 good years to win, but sustaining that that winning and that over a course of time, and that's what you want to do. Not just have a good team, but you want to have a good program.
That's
Yeah, that's what we said in week 6. That's the difference in good football teams and good football programs.
Right. And if you can implement your own system, the York system, into the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, by the time they get to you, they should know it.
Yeah, well, by the time they get to you, then it's not having to teach fundamentals. It's pruning what somebody else has already taught.
That's right.
Fundamentals to them.
And it's not. Let me say this. It's not just knowing a football system, but it's also getting the kids in the weight room.
That's right.
Getting the kids in your conditioning program. Getting the kids in your meal plans. There's a lot to go to it. That if you get a kid coming into you at 150 pounds as a freshman, and you get him as a senior and he's still 150, 160 pounds, then as a program, we did not do that kid any justice.
Right.
Here. So there's more to it than you're going to go out there and learn our football program. We want to get you smarter. We want to make you a better person.
Right.
And then, we want to get you more physically stronger.
Bigger, faster, stronger by the time they get to you.
That's it.
So that's a very, very important role that I don't know who you're going to have in that position, but that is a very important role right there. And, we talked about, a good season, 6-4, which nobody expected us to be. But let's talk about our schedule we played. It's full of playoff teams. We're talking about Bunky's number 5, Gina's number 7, Marksville 18, Avoyelles 19, South Bow 20, Menard, Grant, Caldwell. The list goes on. And that's a tough schedule to play, to go 6-4 in your first year here. That's you didn't have a lot of pushovers.
No, you go back and look at, like we talked about the games that you won, games that you lost, and all but, 10 of those games, I thought, we were in the ball game.
Right.
To win it. There's still a gap that we've got to overcome, and that's all-season work, and between, the Bunkies and the Ginas right now. And do I think that we can close that gap down? Absolutely. Is it going to be work? Yes, it is.
Oh, well, sure, it's going to be work.
And it's not going to happen overnight. We don't expect it to happen overnight. These are things that, we teach our kids that anything worthwhile, you're going to have to work for it. And they're going to have to work for it, not just during football season, but if they go to basketball, they got to continue to work off the court. They got to get bigger, faster, and stronger. When they go to baseball, they still got to work bigger, faster, and stronger. So, we want to close that gap down, but once again, it's not going to happen overnight. But looking at the schedule, yes, I thought we did, a very good job of maneuvering through it.
Yeah, I think the accolades of this year, especially this year, being your first year, I mean, keep in mind, the students and the parents met you in an auditorium building 3 weeks before school started, or during the summer, and it was a mandatory meeting. Hey, this is your new football coach. This is what we're going to plan. This is what we decide. This is what we're going to have to do. This is the way it is.
Right.
And everybody's like, what? You know what I'm saying? So the accolades of this season, I don't see how you can,
Right. And listen, we got a very good football team. We're going to talk about Booker T. Washington here in a minute because we're going in there. We come in as the number 15 seed. So how they explain a little bit on the division sets? How did we end up in 2 and everybody else in 3 in our division?
That's a very, if you ask me, I'm still going to tell you, that's a very good question. You look at it, I'm still used to it. I've been, in the state of Louisiana for 6-7 years now. I'm still used to classifications, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, all the way up. And we still have classifications, but our notorious athletic association decided they would come in and split everything up in divisions. The reason for that is just because they want to try to get everybody back together from a split between select school and non-select. Select meaning, that you have control over your enrollment versus non-select, you don't have control over your enrollment.
well,
We are classified as a select school. Now, you look at our school, we have two students out of all of our kids in our school that are open enrollment and come to our school. So those 2 students put us in the select category. So we are considered select. As far as divisions go, they went through and they classified, when they classified select, non-select, they broke it up into 4 divisions.
Right.
so obviously if you have 2 students, you go in Division 2?
Well,
Because we have 2 students,
They look
and we're in
at you-
Division 2.
well,
Division 2 is higher than Division 3. That makes no sense. They got to do better.
They look at your student enrollment population, and so where we fall, we are the next to the highest division. Yeah.
Again, we got 2 students.
2 students that are open enrollment.
And we're all 3A.
Right, we're 3A when it comes to classifications, but if you look at it, we're playing in the playoffs against 4A schools.
Right.
Brother, I'm telling you now, Division, if you
For
don't,
a
if you
private
don't think
school.
Division, here's the difference. 3A is already a tough thing to play in Central Louisiana because there's a lot of 4A schools around here that and 5As. Okay, so if you don't think that's tough, if you want to get technical with it, you go play 3A Division 3 ball,
Right.
and then you turn around and go play 3A Division 2 ball. There's no comparison.
Oh, no.
Division 2 is 5A ball back in the day, back in the gap that we talked about earlier.
Right.
It's private school down south. Now we're coming here to play football.
Here's this is my frustration with it. You look in our district and in the playoffs, we've got teams in 2 different divisions, 3 different divisions.
3 different divisions.
3 different divisions
Yeah.
in one district, which makes no sense.
It makes
to
no
me.
sense.
And
Nope.
if anybody can explain that to me, I'd be glad, because I still scratch my head.
You can
How
have
we-
3 state champions from 1 district.
Right, 3 state champions in one district.
That's
How
insane.
that makes sense? That makes no sense whatsoever. So,
I'm
anyway,
with
that's
you.
another radio
Oh,
show.
yeah, we could talk about that all
radio
night.
show, Podcast, whatever we want to do on divisions and classifications. But
Yeah,
All
I
right,
don't
let's
think
talk a
it's
little bit
gonna
about Booker T. Washington, Coach.
Okay.
Home playoff game in Panther Stadium. Hey, the Panthers have not been beaten Panther Stadium this
We
year.
have not. That's,
And we
Not to-
got a home
again,
game.
not to put you on the spot. The Panthers have not been beat in Panther Stadium
That's right.
this year. You're
this
right.
year.
Correct. But
All
we don't look for that to happen.
Okay.
How pumped are y'all guys knowing you're getting a home game right here?
Completely excited. It's bigger than our football program. It's huge for the school. It's huge for this community. You look at it this week. It's huge for this city, this parish. We're the only football game being played in this parish this Friday night. Everybody else, if they're in the playoffs, they either have a bye this week or they're on the road. So,
Right.
we are the only show in town. It's incredibly big for this program, this school. We're excited. I know the kids are excited.
Oh, yeah. The whole school's excited. You can feel it around there.
Coaches are excited.
Yeah.
We're just hoping that everybody comes out and packs the stadium tomorrow night.
Oh, y'all better all come out tomorrow night and fill Panther Stadium up. It needs to be standing room only on the track. Let's support our Panthers tomorrow night. So we're excited about that. And I expect this community to do nothing less than that.
Yeah, look, hey, so we know a lot about Booker T. What's some of their key players? What's some of the things they do well?
Well, you look at them, and you look at their record. They're 4-6, but go down to New Orleans. That's a grind.
That's that Division
Oh,
II that we're talking about.
And we're
It's
talking
totally
about
different.
4A football now.
You get
4A.
south of I-10 in Division II football and
4A
3A,
football.
buddy. It's I'm
So-
telling you, you better be ready to play.
So the 4-6, that can be misleading, but looking at their team, they're incredibly athletic. They're going to get off the bus. They're going to look like football players. The thing that I think that we've got going for us, our kids are very coachable. They are coached up. Our kids play physical football, and that's what we've been marking on this week. That if you play physical this week, play our best game this week, you're going to go 1-0 in the postseason. And we've talked about that this week. Records mean nothing. Everybody starts over.
Yeah, it's 0-0.
Right, 0-0. Doesn't matter what you did. You could have gone 10-0.
It all starts over.
You lose the first playoff game, it means nothing.
To the
That's right.
hill.
That's right. So you could have lost, going 4-6, lose a record, win the first playoff game. You're still in it.
That's right. You still got a
Means
chance.
Nothing. So our goal is to go 1-0, and nothing else matters because you can't get the next week unless you win this.
Yeah, the playoffs are to tell you one thing, especially like in the NFC South. Hey, it don't matter what your record
Doesn't
is.
matter what your record
You
is.
just got to get in,
You
buddy.
just got to get in.
That's it.
Get
So-
to the dance and we'll start.
That's exactly right. So, what do you know about Booker T? What's some of their best players? What do they do well?
They once again very athletic. They're looking from our defensive side on their athletic or their offensive side. They're going to spread it out. They up front once again they're going to have size, but I think our speed helps us out up front with our defensive line. The guy that we've got to stop is number 3. Number 3, their running back. He's a little scat back. We got to contain him. The quarterback, number 18, he can spin a little bit. I think if you look at passing game, I think our passing game is a little ahead of theirs. They've got some receivers that, if you let them in open space, they can hurt you. But
Right.
I feel confident in our secondary and our defensive
Yeah,
line.
and I'll say this. I don't know. I haven't seen any film on them. I don't know who their receivers are. They may be all signed to some schools I don't know about. But I can tell you now, our receiving core that we have, I would put up against them today.
Oh, yeah. They're
Because
going to go. Our
we have
receivers go
five
get the
people
ball.
that can catch the ball.
We do.
And 5 people that can get open.
We do.
I put our receiving core, I've been saying that all year.
Right.
No matter who we play, our receiving core, they do a phenomenal job.
On their defensive side of things, they're going to give you 2 looks. They're going to give you a 3-4, 4-2, depending on down and distance situations. I think that our strength, just like in the Marksville game, you go back, I think this is a very similar game to the Marksville game, that I think that we're going to win it up front, and that we're more physical up front. Our kids are more coached up front.
Right.
We've got to play, but if we're going to win it, it's going to be between tackle and tackle this week.
And that's where both playoff games are won. But listen, Coach, there's rumors going around out there.
Okay?
Rumors.
There may be a large trophy,
Okay.
It's been made for a while.
possibly already made.
It's been made for a while. I'm going to go ahead and throw that
We're
out
looking
there.
for the first playoff
It's been
win,
made for a
Coach.
while.
No pressure at all.
Let's don't jinx this.
No pressure at all, but you can make history tomorrow night.
Well,
You do know that going
And
in.
keep in mind, it hasn't been made this year. It's been made several years.
Well, look, if we go out and play our best football game of the year, then I feel confident that our kids are going to come out victorious.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to go out there, and the Panthers have to play their best football.
gotta play.
If you get beat, you get beat. But what you don't want to do is go out there and beat yourself.
No, you want to leave it
You
all on
want
the
to play,
field.
especially your seniors. You got Jim Burlew, you got Hayden Boone, you got those guys that are not going to get to do it again. You got several of them. You want them to leave every bit of that emotion out there on that field and not allow them to beat themselves.
And make your mark on this whole program.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. You're playing now for the man in the mirror.
That's it.
And you got to look him in the mirror and you got to say, you know what, I gave it my best. I either got beat or I didn't.
And go
We
ahead.
talked about that in the seniors after practice day. I said, guys, you're going to leave your mark. This is how people are going to remember you guys. You're 6 of them standing to me, looking at me in the eye. I said, y'all 6 right here. Y'all stuck it out this year. Y'all bought into this new program. But when they look back, they're not going to remember anything else. But hey, those 6 guys, those are the ones that won the very first playoff game.
That's exactly
That's right.
right.
Yeah, those 6 guys will be talked about in that senior year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, it'll just keep coming up.
I looked at one of them. I said, kids are going to wear your jersey. You win tomorrow night, they're going to wear your jersey around
That's
town.
exactly
They're gonna
right.
say, I want to be that number right there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
because that's a big thing. It may not be a big thing in a lot of programs, but it's huge here.
Oh.
It's huge here. To get the first one,
You got to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere.
This is the right place to start.
that's exactly right. And listen, not only would them seniors get to make history doing that, I can't find another senior class that went 6-0 at home.
No.
I mean, I haven't looked,
I
but
don't
I
either.
can't remember off the top of my head. So that's another thing. If you can go out, with undefeated at home your senior year, that's
Yeah,
good
like I
stuff.
said, they've already have a lot to be. I mean, you won the Squirrel Bowl, you won your homecoming, you won your senior night. Now
Right.
you put on top of there where you win a playoff game. You go. Yeah, you're 7-3.
Yep.
Going into week 2 or possibly even week 3 of the playoffs to the quarterfinals. I'm telling you now, that takes a while for that history to get remade.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
big
mean, that's
time.
just without hard work, that history don't get remade the next year.
That's right.
It takes a couple years to get there. It takes that program to get built. So I mean, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, so Coach, what was our, game plan wise, what are we looking at? Do we have something we're really focused on, hyper focused on that you want to share with us, or maybe not too much?
I think the biggest thing is tomorrow night, offensively, we've got to limit the turnovers. I thought we've done fairly well the last few weeks.
Right.
We've got to play physical, offensive line-wise. Defensively, we've got to rally to number 3, and we've got to get 4, 5, 6 helmets on number 3. Make sure that he doesn't get a crease, because any little crease he's going to sliver out of. But if we can do those things, we're going to be successful.
I think your defense has been playing really good football all year. They've been playing good enough football to win a district or a playoff game at home. I mean, they've kept you in ball games. They played discipline. Now, it's been, like I said, it's been here too, a quarter here, half here.
Right.
But most of all, if you took an overall score of your defense, they've played champion caliber football.
They have, and I think our speed helps us on that side of the ball. I do think that looking at this matchup, their style helps us defensively. You look back this year, whenever we go up against a more physical, I say, you go back years, old school football up underneath center.
Right.
That's kind of hurt us this year, and that's not because of anything we've done. Just our size doesn't help us.
That's right. You use quickness more than size right
and
now.
So we're playing to the strengths of our kids about where we're putting them, how we're aligning them up with our speed. So I think that their style this week helps our defense out.
Well, that's always good to go in a matchup that you feel like you're matching up well on.
Yeah, look, we've been waiting for it all week, man. I'm super excited. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's going to be fun to call in the booth, and like I said, I just hope that we go out there and play to the best of our ability, and really leave it out there.
That's right.
Because I still think that's what it's going to come down to, and it's going to be a lot of nerves, going on. I mean, this and that's a lot of pressure. You got to block it out. You just got to play the best football game.
Yeah, once this ball's snapped, it's football again. You just got to win the ball game at that point.
It's gonna be fun.
That's going to be a great time.
I know the kids. I've watched the kids as we progress this week. That I had a couple of seniors come in my office this afternoon and say, Coach, we're ready. So that's what you want to hear from
That's
us.
it. That's exactly right. How's our lineup look this week? Do we lose anybody in the Gina game? Everything's clean?
We're healthy as we can be right now.
Well,
Everybody
good deal.
Started in that game, is going in this game, so we're good. Makes you feel good that we got a one-game season tomorrow night. I told our kids the last challenge I gave them before we left today, and it's going to be my last challenge for tomorrow, is find a way to win. Doesn't matter how we do it, you just find a way personally, find a way to
That's
put
it.
one more point on the board than they do. It doesn't matter 1, 10, 20, or 30. We just need one more than they do.
That's
right.
what, look at the Chiefs.
A game-winning field goal, even.
Game-winning field goal.
Oh, here we go with the field goal. He wants a field goal bad.
Game-winning field goal.
Or you can beat them by 4 touchdowns. I'm okay with that too,
It
Coach.
doesn't matter. As long as we got one more, find a way, just one more than they do.
Yeah, we just need the W tomorrow night. But listen, we're really excited. We thank you for doing these coaches shows with us all year. We hope to have one with you next
Hope
week.
to have one next week. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
So that is the goal. We're going to be in Panther Stadium tomorrow night. Everybody come out, 7 o'clock. Hey, the Buckeye Deville community needs to come out and support these Panthers. It's going to be a really fun environment. We're going to have the Panther Stadium is going to be rocking. We're all excited about it. We want to thank our sponsors once again, BK Distributors, Rio Rojo for always letting us do these coaches shows. Come out, support your Panthers tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Panther Stadium. Be there. Hey, come early, get your seats because it's going to be packed, and we're going to be really, really excited for it. So everybody make some noise for the Buckeye High School football team.